and I introduced myself to them because they were with their student, and I just went up to the student and I said, "Hey, how are you? Is this your parent?" And then I try to make it a habit every time I see a parent out in public that thank them for allowing their student to be at our school and me to be their principal. And so I thanked them and I said, "Yeah, your son is awesome." I try to know as much about all the kids as I possibly can so that I can have some connection point with a parent or guardian. And in this case, I had seen him play in a soccer game. So I think that, I said, "Hey, your son played really well last night. You should be really proud of him." I certainly am. And then a week later, the parent ended up coming back into the building and had to pick him up. And I reintroduced myself again. And he was just like, "I want you to know, hey, thank you for what you said about my son the other day. It just meant it came at a good time and we needed to hear that." And it's things like that where you're, just constantly trying to plant those seeds of positivity with parents and grandparents and guardians and as much as possible, because sometimes, as that conversation has to go a different direction and you want to kind of lay that foundation early.
Absolutely. And just piggybacking off of that, of like the laying the foundation, that space of trust. I'll say one of the experiences that started off kind of rocky at first, but turned into a really positive one was, and it's great that we're talking about pushback too, because within this example, there was some, but I had a student last year and it was obvious that he needed additional assistance. The placement wasn't proper for him, but he was a kindergarten student. So it was his first year in school, that kind of thing. So we kind of gave it some time. And the mother was at first in total opposition and just believed that, no, we just, give him more time and more time. But it was a disservice to him as well as the other students in the class. So I think one of the things that was a happy moment was when I finally could convince the mom that we needed to give him more support. One of the things that would happen was, he was displaying a lot of behavioral challenges, but what she would see with me is even, when she was picking him up or whatever, I'm still going to love on him and tell him, "Okay, buddy, we're going to try it again tomorrow." So she could see that there was a good positive space and a care for her child, not we're just going to throw him over and give him some services. So afterwards, once we finally got in place, it was his happy spot, right? It was exactly where he needed to be. And mom came over and she pulled me to the side and she said, "You know what? I didn't agree at first, but he's found his tribe here. He's where he's supposed to be." So it was just a good connection of paying the trust, of laying that foundation. So when you do need to try to pivot, parents know you have their best interest in mind.